Greetings and salutations.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Sam, and this is the Morning Mayhem Show. How are you guys doing this morning? So, as you can see by the thumbnail, I called this what do I call it? Not my circus, not my circus, not my crisis, something like that. And I wanted to talk about that, especially over the past week. Things have just been a little. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, there's been some mistakes made by me. And I'm not here to talk about that today. What I'm here to talk about is what the general. It's like the world's loud right now. Everybody's yelling, everybody's panicking, everyone's picking a side. But here's the truth: it's not my circus, and it's definitely not my crisis. I can care without getting consumed. I can stay informed without being paralyzed, and I can keep showing up even when the headlines say "Don't bother," because it's something that we just don't want to watch or listen to. So pour your coffee, breathe deep, just like that, and let's get into it. This is the Morning Mayhem Show. I'll start to respond.
Good morning to the chaos we ride.
So when I get texts, my own ideas. Yes, Johnny, you can definitely have a Red Bull instead. I wish I had one, and I don't. And that kind of pisses me off. Can I say pisses before the first 2 minutes? I don't know if I can or not. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show. So I was thinking last night, I do these shows and I do these stories, and I talk about, Carmelo Anthony, or we talk about the Karen Reed trial. And I mean, what have we talked about? Blake Lively, Diddy. I mean, it started out with Diddy, right? Because of my ex co-host, and who knew Diddy forward and backwards. I was kind of along for the ride for that. But since I took over, I kind of picked my own little topics that I like to cover. And some of those topics that we covered before, when we were together, I held on to some of those. And then, of course, it's always like recovery stuff, and that will always take precedent when needed. Not to be redundant, but sometimes I think it needs to be said again over and over, because we do have new listeners, and sometimes we forget, right? We get caught up in all the drama, or all the external stuff, all the stuff that we're feeding ourselves with media and YouTube and algorithms and all the things that, like, I know I worry about, but I don't know why I'm worried about it. So last night I was thinking, I'm worrying about, like, when I do a story about, like, say, Carmelo Anthony, that's the teenager that stabbed that poor young man who passed away in the chest, right? Pretty hectic. I'm super into the story. I want to know everything about it. I go to X, I stay on YouTube, and I check all the things out, right? And then when the show's over, and I'm not doing show prep or watching it leisurely, when I click stop, that doesn't really consume me. I find a way to detach myself from that, and I can be present for my family. But when there's these other things that are affecting our community more personally, I don't do that because I'm not realizing that it's really not my crisis. I inserted myself. I can uninsert myself. Would that be excerpt, or is that a word I just made up? But I'm going to use it again. I can excerpt myself, and because I like making up words, and I detach myself, whatever, remove myself from the situation, because for real, yeah, I had a co-host, and we were doing things together, and some of this stuff, this recent stuff, has been kind of has kind of like came from that. I'm not kind of, it has come from that. But I inserted myself. I chose to keep inserting myself into that sphere of there's so much right out there that's spins around that topic, and I just haven't realized that I can just remove myself, and I think I knew that I could do that, and maybe a part of me wanted to not do that, and I don't know what part of me that is, and I tried to figure that out, um, but I think I have been doing this like almost my entire life. I can't really remember before the age of like 21 of if I had done stuff like that, because I lived at home with my mom. Well, I moved out with my mom as a teen, but you know what I mean. I still had like a lot of family support surrounding me, and I just can't remember if I did that. I didn't. I don't feel like there was ever any big crisis before that, besides like my older brother getting killed when I was 17, things like that. And but from 21 on, I do remember my life pretty vividly, almost like it was yesterday. And I've always have done that. I've wanted to be a part of it. When I worked at Microsoft, I was a workaholic. That was me wanting to be a part of Microsoft and like inserting myself into any project they had. If they were asking for volunteers, and it wasn't like, all of us engineers sitting in a room and, like, hey, who wants to volunteer for this job? But, I was always made myself available, even when other projects needed me at Microsoft. If anyone needed me, I was there, even if it took away from what my job was. And moving past that, and then becoming an addict, when I was on that couch after my wife passed, and I was drinking heavily, and someone turned me on to drugs, and I started doing drugs to like push down the pain. And that's not the topic I want to talk about today. But even then, when I started doing drugs, I wanted to be a part of the drug world, and I inserted myself into that world. And I remember this Mexican cat. Man, I remembered his name last night. But anyway, it was like a white boy name. It wasn't like Pedro or Jose or anything like that. Although from him, I did meet lots of Jose's and Gordos and Jorge's, and because I inserted myself into that drug trafficking, drug manufacturing world. I didn't have to do that. I could have just bought drugs from him and then resold those drugs and just stayed in my lane. But I didn't. I heard him talking about he needed some flasks to manufacture some drugs, and I don't want to use the drugs by name, but I was like, hey, I'll do it, because I just happened to be there, overheard the conversation, and when really it was a A-B conversation, I needed to, they were A and B, and I needed to see my way out of it, and I didn't do that. I just inserted myself into their crisis, into what their problems were, and I was trying to fix it. And and you know what? And I have been a people pleaser, and I do know that, but I don't necessarily know if this is so much people pleasing. I think when I people please, it's more of when people ask me for help or ask me to do something, and I say, yeah. What the kind of situations that I'm talking about is where I kind of inject my presence into their crisis, and then I like try to not only participate in it, but to control it with them, or to think that foolishly that I have some kind of control over that. And I feel like I've been driving myself crazy. I don't sleep right. I don't eat right. I don't. I don't. I'm not present when I am present with my family. Um, my wife and I, we get in this argument often where like I'll spend like 4 or 5 days with her, like during like she'll be off and we'll spend all day. We'll go to lunch. We'll do things, run errands. We'll come back. We'll binge watch a TV show, and then like one of those days, or like it's to say that that's like Monday through Friday, and then Saturday I spend all day on the computer. And she comes in and she's like, "Hey, are you gonna spend some time with us today?" I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean? I just spent like 5 days with you." But because I have inserted myself in all these external things that aren't mine to be a part of, I'm not present. I'm not really present with her, even when I'm physically there, right? And I just kind of came to a revelation, and really it was this morning. Like last night I was thinking about it, because I knew we were moving forward as a community, and I was moving forward as a content creator, and I wasn't going to bring up details or like take my side and try to prove whatever I was trying to prove, or I felt I needed to prove. But and that's not what I'm doing. What we are moving forward, and this is moving forward. I'm just talking about, what do we do in our lives that we do that when we don't need to, and it causes us so much stress. It affects everyone around us, because yeah, we might be physically there, but like our minds are somewhere else, or our hearts are somewhere else. Because when I'm helping someone, when I insert myself into something, like I do it wholeheartedly, like with my entire being, and those around me, they might not feel like that I'm there. Maybe I'm not listening to what they're saying, and I just say, yeah, right on, right on. My wife and friends and her girlfriends always know when I'm really not paying attention, because they'll be talking directly to me and I'll be, oh, right on, right on. But when I say that, that's like a trigger for them to know that like I'm not listening. Because if they were to say, oh, right on, oh, what did I just say? I'll be like, huh? And they're like, yeah, exactly. I've been busted on it many times. And it's always like really embarrassing, because I was like, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about, whatever. I was thinking what, Carmelo Anthony, or what was I going to do the show on? And I need to stop doing that. And like when the times do come where the crisis does come to me, where it's not like me inserting myself, I don't think I necessarily need to take ownership of that either. I can just, or I don't know if maybe I can take ownership if it involves me, but instead of like being loud and vociferous and trying to prove something, I think I'm just going to start staying quiet. And because when I don't, it takes away. It takes away from, like I just said, like being present with my family. It takes away from my creativity, and I'm just, because I have to be creative. I'm a tattoo artist, and I'm trying to be a successful YouTube creator. but when I let all those things like really get to me, when I can't just do the story and like walk away from it, then something needs to change, right? And so that's what I want to talk about. Like, how am I going to make these changes? Because I wasn't built to carry that all. That's not my purpose here. I need to start, I know I need to start filtering what I'm consuming. And I don't even mean as like a Christian, because there's always that, don't watch secular things, or, things that are negative or possibly demonic, I just mean like just anything that's going to make me feel ick. Yeah, we all like to watch train wrecks, but how does that really make us feel? Like, yeah, we can be like, wow, that's crazy. We want to look at it. But like, I remember driving down the street. Well, I wasn't driving, but moving down like the highway. Yeah, I was shackled because I was on a bus on the way to the airport, and we were driving down the highway, and I remember seeing this car accident, and the truck was full of this person's belongings, so they were probably moving. And I remember seeing some kids things in there, like, toys and like bunk beds were in the back of this truck. And I hope this is a good analogy, because I'm just kind of free flowing. I do have some like outline notes of what I want to talk about, but this truck, like, so say you have a truck and the cab. Well, this truck must have not seen the semi had been dead stopped, and it crashed into the back of the semi. Well, the back of the semi came up over the truck and completely wiped out the cab. So now it was just a flat vehicle, like, you know what I mean? So the hood of the truck, no more cab, and then the bed of the truck. But the bed of the truck was packed with kids' furniture and toys and things like that. And I mean, the whole bus was like, whoa, laughing, and I was just like, wow. And I just remember thinking, like, there's no way anyone could have survived that. It would have been impossible. Right. And what if it wasn't just the parents? What if it was the children that were in there? Or what if it was just the parents? Now the children don't have parents. Or what if it was the entire family? Right. I think just thinking of like the external situation, like, yeah, wow, that's a wreck, and that's crazy, and we'll tell people about it later, and I can't believe it. But what if we play that tape forward? What about the repercussions in the background? What about those victims that I didn't take away the name? I don't want to use the word docs. What about them and their entire story, right? All the things that I don't know about. Like, I don't know what happened to that family. I don't know exactly what happened with the victims of that situation, right? But I'm here going, wow, and and sometimes laughing, not at the victims, but laughing about, like, wow, this chick's crazy, man, or I don't even know if I've laughed about that, but you know what I mean? Just in awe, and, and talking about it with you guys and other people. But there's more to the story. So that's what I mean. Like, that's their crisis. I don't need to be a part of it. That poor family in that truck, like, we all don't need to be in awe of that. And I want to stop doing that. And I just feel like I might have done that my entire life, or in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it doesn't have to be as heavy as an entire family getting, taken out. It could be anything. So, I have this morning routine that I do where I practice gratitude. It's a recovery thing, an AA thing, a big book thing, or it's at the very least a sponsor thing. That's one of the first things they tell you. That's what I tell my guys. Wake up, try to think of 3 things you could be grateful for. And I do that. But, as time goes on and I get busier and I get distracted, that time that I practice that gratitude is really just me getting Hazley ready for school, and me just thinking like, oh man, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for my wife, but I don't stop and think about it. I definitely don't pray on what I'm grateful for or to be thankful, and I most definitely don't stop and listen and be quiet or listen to what the universe has to tell me. And my universe happens to be God. But I know if you don't believe in God, that God still exists and there still is the universe, and we'll just call God the universe, that does still exist. And I don't think many people, at least not in this community, deny at least that. Even the atheists, I think, believe that there's got to be some kind of connection with all of us, because we all know what love is, right? And the universe is love, God is love. And so I think when we get so distracted from those things and we do things impatiently, even with our friends, like, when I'm like talking, I'm in a conversation with someone, but I'm not there and I'm saying right on, that's not fair to them. It's not fair to my connection with them. And so I want to think of the different ways that I can start practicing to change that, because practicing gratitude is not going to do it. Although I will still do that, but I feel like this is something more, right? This is something more like super internal with me. And that I just need to change, because it can be damaging, right? And it sucks because, like, yeah, I'm moving forward, but I think this previous situation is a good example. So I won't talk about the details of that, but I feel like there's a lot of damage, and I don't think anyone here or me are responsible for that. I am responsible for my part in it, for where I inserted myself. And yeah, I could blame others, for lying and manipulating, or whatever. But I'm a big boy, and I'm a pretty smart guy, and I chose to be a part of the entire situation, from the first moment I reconnected to where I took myself out of it. So I think that this behavior is a little different, and I want to think of some ways that I can start moving out of that. And I think, to start with, I want to start filtering what I consume. And before I get into that, I want to get into chat and say hi to everybody. And I'm going to start some comments while we're at it. Hey, Solitis. Oh, it's Nova. Hey, Nova. What's up? I always forget that that's you. Hey, Grateful. How you doing today? Woofy, good morning to you. Love and life, so live it. Hey, how are you doing today? Chrissy Never in Newton, what's going on? How are you doing today? Yeah, I basically, Chrissy Newton says, please look up codependent. No, that's exactly what it is. And I was getting to that, and I know I've always been codependent, but I think this is like codependent on steroids. And so, yeah, absolutely, Chrissy and Newton, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Hey, Nicole, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here and being a mod. Ben Bacon Bits, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Wild Poppy, good to see you. John Lozon, how you doing today? Good to see you. Caroline, wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Nicole, how are you doing today? Tara Jackson, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while too. I seen you yesterday, but I just mean in general. KPAZ, how are you doing today? I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. Maybe I've lost some time when I went to bed last night. Tan Louise, how are you doing today? Woofy, thank you so much for being a mod and helping out with the show and everything that you do. Hey, Galen, good to see you. Hope to talk to you soon again. Heat my shorts. Good to see you. We might have to show where I'd ask everyone how'd they come up with their name. I remember Auntie Monkey Pants, who I haven't seen in a while. Hopefully she's okay. Is doing okay. Kim, the security whisperer, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Sorry, I was reading. Woofy, Amy, how are you doing today? Be happy. Good to see you. Grateful, always good to see you. 1111. Kim, the security whisperer, always good to see you. Yes, getting back to the basics does always works, doesn't it, Kim? I do it all the time, and that's kind of like where I'm headed to in this conversation. I didn't plan out the entire talk. I had a few talking points, but I wanted to try to be more natural, so I didn't feel like I was reading from my notes. Who else is here in this chatty-o chat of mine? Teresa Clay, good to see you. Nova. Kathleen Menzies, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Grandma B123. Awesome to see you. Shell Dub. What's up, Dub? That was stupid. Who else is here? Who else? Sorry about that. How are you doing today? Sorry about that. I love that. Follow your truth. You know, I feel like that's kind of a new saying, but maybe people have always said it. I could probably watch some old, self-help videos from the 70s, and that might be the whole topic is, know your truth, follow your truth. But it's something that I haven't quite heard before until like maybe a year ago. And I love that. And also your authentic self. I don't remember ever talking about that even in therapy, but since I've had this therapist who I've had for 5 years, I've been seeing her once a week. And I don't miss many. She's the one who first started talking to me about my authentic self. And I just thought it was fascinating. Grateful 1111, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Always be present with the ones you love. Get away from the YT world. You have a beautiful wife and daughter, and they love you unconditionally. YT doesn't. Always remember, be here now. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you are it's such a true statement, right? YT definitely does not love me. As as a whole. Patty Collins, how are you doing today? Good to see you. Hi, Sam and Chad. I'm on elliptical, so not chatting and listening. Get it, girl. That was your morning mayhem motivational. Sorry. Zaphod Beeblebrox. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, we could absolutely keep it simple and say it's self-care. And I mean, these are the people that have told me about self-care in the past week and a half. My pastor, my wife, my therapist, one of the artists I work with, I think said something like, asked me because he's seen I was like kind of stressed out, just in general. But I had a lot going on, right? The artists, they don't have nothing to worry about when I move into a shop. I do. I have to get everything together. But he had asked me like, hey, what are you doing for self-care? And I was like, what? Get back to work. Right? Just kidding. It was kind of like that. So yeah, everyone tells me keep it balanced, because I'm not balanced. And when I am balanced, I feel amazing, man. There's nothing better than the right amount of we'll just I don't know what even to call YouTube. YouTube was my self-care at one point. It was that I could get away, because I love computers, obviously my history, right? And this was my self-care because I love to do it. But then I became a creator, and there was no more just watching court videos and interrogation videos. And so then it did kind of all consume me. So then now that wasn't my self-care, and I never replaced it with anything. And I stopped going to the gym and then eating right. So if I've ever been unbalanced, I am for sure now. If I've ever been, I don't want to say I'm more unbalanced than I ever have been in my life. But it's not great. You know what I mean? It's not great. I feel like I need to, my tattoo schedule is out of control now. My other channel is not doing well, but that's all part of this. So I'm not even going to keep that separate or separate that. I'm going to keep it together. I don't feel like my wife and I get enough time to where we do something fun, to where we're like, laughing and smiling. Yeah, we spend time together, but and we'll laugh at a TV show, but definitely not that, like, where we're like, looking in each other's eyes and talking, things like that. That hasn't happened in a long time. Just briefly here and there, yeah, we'll go to marriage counseling on Thursdays, and we'll profess that we want to make this work and that we love each other so much, and but once we leave there, like, we both get busy. So Jamie Palmer, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. With me, it was a kick in the backside when my mom passed. Oh yeah, it isn't. So yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. It's sad that sometimes has to happen that way, right? Well, it's sad because we lose someone we love, but it's sad that for us that it takes that situation for us to realize that this is also fleeting, and that we need to be present for the things that are really, really, really important. And maybe I do find probably that the things, I probably do put a little more importance in the things that I shouldn't. And I don't know how that's happened. People have been telling me this for the past year, and I tell them they're wrong. But I feel like they're probably 80% right. And I don't argue with it. I just be like, yeah, you maybe, and mosey on away to what is probably killing me, and in a metaphorically way, So I don't know. Anyways, so I was super lost in a memory right now, and that's why I was kind of detached from what I was saying. I was thinking about, I have a friend who lost his dad and his grandpa and his mother's dad. I mean his wife's dad, all within about 40 days. I think we figured it out. And we had to clean out like 3 garages within those 40 days. And there was all these knickknacks and things. And, one of them had collected dragons, these little dragon figurines. He was an older guy, so it kind of tripped me out. I have some of them at the tattoo shop. And we were taking a lot of this stuff to the dump because we were too busy to have a garage sale. And when we were throwing it when we're throwing it in the truck, we were just like, oh man, this kind of sucks, you know, this guy's stuff. But when we're actually pushing it off into the dump, it hit us both really bad. Like we drove away in the truck, just like thinking about life and our purpose. And because what, one of the guys' name was, not Henry. Man, I had it, but anyways, we'll just call him Henry. Henry had all this garage full of stuff that he put in there while he was alive that he must have felt was important enough to keep, or like he collected these dragons that he loved. But when you die, you know, I'm sure you guys have had this conversation with other people. Like when you die, none of this means anything, right? But when you're pushing someone else's entire life of these things that he found important into a dumpster, it hits you. If you have any kind of awareness, you know, and we were like, whoa, and we were both quiet, and we both knew what the other was thinking without saying it. And we started making plans to make some memories together. Him and I did. I'm not friends with this person anymore. And that's a whole nother story. And I chose not to be friends with him because I felt he wasn't putting enough into our friendship. It was always me calling him, you know, wouldn't talk for a while, and I would call him, and he would never reach out. It was always me. And it didn't used to be like that. So I just felt, you know, I got bitchy about it. I pouted about it, you know, like, you know, and I told him, like, you know what, man, I'm good in our friendship, just out of the blue, you know. We had a awesome breakfast one day, like 5-6 weeks later, I just texted him, you know what, I don't want to be your friend no more. You know, we were really close, man, me and that guy. Anyways, so, you know, we made plans to make some memories. I think we followed through with that for like 2 months, maybe. You know, we didn't go on any of the camping trips, but, you know, we did go bowling with the family, our families together, and did other things, you know, lunches after church, you know, to where we all like spent time together. But that all fell to the wayside, and now I'm not even friends with the guy. And, you know, him and I were really close, you know, and I lost that. And it's because we both got busy, and then I got, you know, became a little baby about it. So I guess that's what Jamie was saying, you know, that's what happened with him. It was a kick in the backside. That there's more important things than like maybe the things that we're doing, you know. And definitely start changing that with practicing gratitude, getting more balanced in life. You know, just the right amount of YouTube, the right amount of family time, the right amount of alone time. I like I said, this being on the computer and watching YouTube was my self-care. That was my alone time. Now I'm working. I love doing it. I love doing it so much. I can do it for 18 hours easily. I can sit for 18 hours. Yeah, I'll stop and make dinner. Yeah, I'll stop and throw a load of laundry in. Yeah, I'll stop and play, you know, hide and seek with Hazley, or go draw hopscotch on the sidewalk but you know, I just do that, and then I get right back. So it's not really like I'm there, you know. I pop in and out. Like I make all these little guest appearances in their movie, you know. And I need to be the leading man again in that situation. And that's going to change today, starting today. You know, I'm going to make a list. I'm terrible with lists. I'm terrible with journaling. I'm terrible with all of that, but I'm going to make a list. And I know I'm going to find, because I've done this before in a certain way, maybe not exactly this way. I've done this before, and I found out that I got more done doing it. You know, it's like when you start working out, you find out you have more energy. Do you know what I mean? When you start eating healthy and working out, like all of a sudden you have more energy. You're not tired from working out. It fuels you. It changes whatever it changes in your body, your metabolism, whatever it is. And you have more energy and you sleep better. And when you're doing those things and staying balanced, you don't worry as much because you're not consuming yourself with one area of your life, right? Like I consume myself with YouTube. And so even when I'm not on YouTube, I'm thinking about YouTube or what show I'm going to do next, or, you know, how can I be a better, you know, show personality for you guys, you know, not to change me, but like, what can I do? What can I talk about, you know? And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. So it does consume me even when I'm not sitting here in front of all these screens. So, how about you guys? No, not to be trite, but what do you guys do to solve those problems if they've ever come up? Or I was gonna pivot this to how does it affect your recovery, but I think that's the obvious, right? You know, when we're not balanced, we get tired, we get worrisome, and maybe we start to lose a little bit of self-worth. And when we lose that self-worth, it's a prime breeding ground for relapse. So yeah, Beta, like Beta just said, you know, how about walking and hiking for alone time? You need sunlight to balance the blue light from the screens. Yeah. And I mean, just walking, and I've never been, and this is going to sound crazy because I live in Montana. I've never been like a nature guy. All my friends are. They all go hunting and camping and do the nature. Like I'll go to the lake and I'll go do a nature thing. But it doesn't, and maybe I'm just not quiet enough in my mind when I'm there to like accept it in you know, to let it feed me. But I'm just never been about like nature except for the ocean. I've always been about the ocean. And maybe that's what it is. You know, I grew up, you know, literally feet from the ocean, and that I don't have that anymore. And that's something that I really miss, and something that really completed me as a person. Like I felt something spiritual from the ocean. I just felt something like healing, and like all the things that are good for me came from the ocean. It was my self-care, right? Because I was in the water, you know, surfing or even just like swimming, and just the taste of the salt water, the feel of it, the sun. I miss all that. Grateful likes to zone out in nature, in the trees. I like to listen to the sound of the leaves blowing, and what the word, it takes practice. Do a family picnic, meditate, just listen. We did do that last week. We went to the park and let Hazley play, and then we went for a walk, and we let her dip her feet into a creek. It's like it was more of a stream, and that was pretty awesome, and it felt really good afterwards. But when we got home, you know, I walked straight through the living room right into the YouTube studio, and I don't want to say it erased it, but it wasn't enough, you know. It wasn't enough. Heather Marie Houston. Hey, Heather. My husband feels that way. He goes to the beach and just spends time with God when he's really stressed. Yeah. Yep. It is. It really takes it away. It really takes it away. I used to live close to Venice Beach, and I didn't really get that there in Venice, but down in Redondo, where it's not populated like Venice Beach, you can really get connected with God. And it's good to see you, Heather. I hope you're doing okay. I felt like I seen a notification for a comment on one of the videos. I haven't gotten to a lot of the comments yet. I want to say it said, "Did you get my text?" I don't know. I'll go find it though and respond to however you need me to respond, or want me to respond. I know you don't need me to, but hey, ASAP, welcome to the show. Man, I wish these things would star themselves. John goes, John Luzon says, I pray, go to AA meetings, drink rock stars, and smoke cigars. Yeah. That's it, John. That's the recipe right there, for real. If that's what it does for you, if it does it for you. Lisa and Brinley, I'm 46, trying to find purpose. I lost so many people I've been close and loved, but one-sided, as now I'm in recovery. I know fun or used to them. I'm boring, but all I take from it is I'm me and I'm present. Yeah, that's cool. Sometimes, and if I'm understanding the comment is just that you're just like taking it back to the basics, like Kim said, just being present and just keeping it simple. Man, that's an old line from AA. I don't hear very much anymore. When I first started in AA, it was like, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. I don't think I've heard that in a really long time at an AA meeting. One day at a time, but and I remember that there used to be AA stickers that said, keep it, it's so simple, it's hard, right? And I used to pretend that I knew what that meant, as a young, 20 something. But after 30 more years of living, because life be lifing, you know what I mean? I didn't know anything in my early 20s, and I'm sure all of you can relate to that, right? Just think of just think of who you were when you were 23. I would have said 24, but I was just getting into systems engineering, and I became a different version of me at that point. But I want to say like from 20 to 23 of what you thought you knew then. We can say 24, 25. I think that's a good age, 25. Just think of the person you were then and everything that you thought you knew, and think about that guy now, or that gal now. It's almost ludicrous, right? And that's why when I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, you were right. And she's like, right about what? I was like, I regret my tattoos. Sometimes, most of the time I don't even think about it, but they're right. I have some, ugly tattoos on me, in some of them. And I regret those. Hey, Sherry LeBron, I don't think I said good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here and a part of the show. Also, someone sent me a super chat yesterday for, what was it? And I didn't say thank you. I missed it. What the hell was it for? Oh, they said, here's a tip for the impersonations. And I thank you for the super sticker or super chat. That was awesome. She said, thank you for the impersonations and the funny sounds you make. And I thought that was cool. pretty much thank you for being an idiot. Hey, V. McWilliams, good to see you today. I'm just going up. Heather Marie Houston says content creating is a great time waster. I found, especially managing my many social media platforms. Yeah, it definitely is a time waster. And depending on like what you, if you need to waste time, then yeah, it can be a great thing. Right. But, what if you don't have time to waste, you know? Grateful 11 says, find an app you can make a list with your voice. I work in the computer world myself, and I used to put sticky note reminders all over my monitors. They're everywhere. All over my monitors, and it sounds crazy, but it works. Yes, it does. And I have them literally everywhere. If my camera wasn't in the teleprompter, I would show you. So yeah, we are one and the same, brother. Or ASAP. That was a great stream. Getting to know Ben. All I saw, and this is crazy, Ben. All I saw really of that stream was like about 5 minutes, and it was the 5 minutes when you did the impersonation of me. And I thought that you did it really good, man. I tried to do you doing me. Whoa. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't even do me. So it was pretty funny. Yeah. I'm just going upwards and upwards. Save it. It's also much more than that now. Yeah, I agree, Jamie Palmer. Yeah, my computer was my means of escape in my 20s. It's still a means of escape, but it's also so much more than that now. Yeah, because you can do so much more, right? Comment the dash amazing poem. I'm lost, Mish, on that. Help me out a little, because you know me, on the struggle bus most days. Oh, here, this is heavy. When I lost my daughter almost 4 years ago, self-care went out the window. It took almost 2 years before I started self-care again. I do self-care now every day. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to force myself to start doing it, or else I'm just gonna start to deteriorate, and it's gonna be right before your guys' eyes. You know, yeah, and we can't let that happen. I want to be here for a long, long time. I still have a 6-year-old daughter to walk down the aisle. You know, I remember when my youngest before her, and who's now 32, when worrying about being alive to walk her down the aisle. Just think how I feel now. Yeah, Nicole says, yeah, yep, hardly anyone ever reached out to me first ever. I feel you on this, Sam. Yeah, and that it can create some resentments after a while. But you know, I think I'm of the belief that, you know, maybe they count on me doing that because or maybe that they just are waiting for that, you know. And if it's something important, they'll reach out. But I don't know. You know, with my friend, I'll get a little deeper into that story. With my friend, I was finding out that, you know, they were going out on the boat every weekend and not inviting me and my family when that was something we would do. Yeah. And there's a whole lot to that story. I am not going to get into it because that I'm going to start being upset about it again. You know what? F that dude. You know what I mean? Okay, 40 days now. 40 days. Wow, my mom. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a sobriety thing. My bad. 40 days. Wow, my mom passed in January 2021. My dad's brother Jim died in February 2021, and my dad's last brother John died in March 2021. Back to back like that is really so hard. It really is. It is excruciating. Oh, that's dope. Crush it. I'm currently at the Salvation Army counseling beneficiaries. Good job, bud. Oh, wow. Synchronized Souls podcast says, I'm drilling shells in the sunshine for my art project. It's very grounding. I feel so calm. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Amazing. I would pay $1 million to be just standing there watching you do that. Or, yeah, I really would. Like, it just sounds so cool. Mindless keeper. Let's be behind the caution. Just moving along. My other's keeper. Hey, Kim. My initial positive thought every day is that in my bathroom there is an east-facing window, so I look outside at the sunrise and say, "Good morning, God." It sets my mind in the right direction daily. And I have a note to do that, to talk about that. I kind of forgot about my notes completely. Is that, yeah, just like first thing in the day, besides practicing gratitude, is as talking to God, and just and I don't even mean in prayer, just like do the prayer too, but like just saying something out loud, like, man, this is going to be a great day. I mean, I generally wake up thinking it's going to be a great day, even when I'm in like massive back pain. Like, I wake up good. Like, I never wake up pissed ever. I don't ever wake up angry. My wife and my 6-year-old, they wake up angry every day almost. Well, no, Mariana's gotten way better at it. But Hazley, no. But Mariana, if she's woken up, is very, very pissy. If I get woken up, I'm just like, oh, hey, what? Is everything all right? When she gets woken up, it's like, wow. It's like, whoa, that's ugly. For real, man. It's just crazy. Ben Baker says, Synchronized Souls. Ben Baker says that Synchronized Souls podcast. I love that. Yeah, for every minute I spend in it, I try to spend a minute in nature or watching something high vibe. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Ben, let's do a show together. Just me and you. We'll just talk about whatever we want to talk. We can talk about drummers if you want. It can be anything. I'm challenging you to a podcast duel. Oh, hey Heather. Hey Sam. Just wanted to let you know that I've been watching Just Got Problems, so I'm in the bushes. All right. Well, you have my my texting number. That's a Google Voice, and I don't always get notifications for that, and it's not always on my phone, and I don't know why Google or iPhone will take it off my phone, so then I really don't get notifications. So then I have to hit it and it re-downloads. I think to make space, or I don't know. I have a 2 terabyte phone, so I don't understand why it does that. Nova says, Sam, get yourselves a beagle. You laugh together every day. I mean, we just had 2 pit bulls, right? And we fostered them, but they were so lazy. We started getting mad at them. They would just look at you and just like watch us walk by and be like, come on. And they would just be like, come on. And like, not like abusively mad or, like angry in our heart of hearts, but it was just like, they weren't giving us what we wanted to receive from them. I guess that's what that could be a whole show, really. When someone doesn't give what you wanted to receive from them. Yeah, man, that could be a whole damn show. But yeah, Ben, let's do a show and Synchronized Souls. I'm going to be on your podcast on May 6th, my birthday. That's going to be dope. Sheldub says, Sam, I highly recommend Mel Robbins' Let Them Theory. I'll check it out. I've been like chipping away at like all the things that, when I say, oh yeah, I'll check that out or watch that, man, I've been like really chipping away at it. I just, say it's like, show prep. But this sounds like it's something that'd be like, Sam prep, human prep. Save my life preparation. All right, what else is going on? So I totally forgot where I was at in my when I said before I'll get to that, let's go to the chat and say hi to everyone. Should have did that first, but that's okay. We have no rules here. We could slip into you never know what's going to happen, right? I can slip into some crazy thing that happened to me whenever, wherever. Kim Security Whisper says, might I offer you are more aware than you ever have been in your life, just a different perspective. Yeah. I want to think about that. I don't think that's necessarily out of the question. Yeah. Max says she's catching up on 2-speed. You can just go to where we're at. Yeah, I've said nothing smart, Mac. You can just come to where we are. Well, I guess she can't hear me say that if she's going 2-speed. Well, that was a long time ago. That was a half hour ago. So she's probably right here with us. Hey, Mac. Might offer you a I already read that. Why? That's so weird. I'm scrolling up and as it's scrolling, it's doing the same like 7 messages again. Let's do it like 3 times today. Down with pants. That's funny. So what have you guys been watching on YouTube lately besides the the Morning Mayhem show? I've been watching, and I will get back to the subject. What have I been watching? Well, I've been watching the Karen Reed stuff on my own. What else have I been watching? Let me go to my algorithm. Take a little rhythm. Let the sweet, sweet music. Oh, you got to take a little rhythm and let them into your heart. Take a little rhythm. Take a little bit of that sweet, sweet music. You got to take a little rhythm and let them into your heart. Can anyone name who does that song? While I'm looking I watch a lot of The Quartering for sure. But I was watching this morning how silence demons in people, how to silence demons in people without saying a word. They are sermons from C.S. Lewis. It's so good, man. So good. That was my little show prep for this morning. Some of it. Here's something from a creator I watch. Her name's Shanine Mehdi. It's titled "What Jesus Actually Did When Confronted by Narcissists and Why It Matters Today." Wow, that's crazy. I want to watch that. I'd watch it with you guys, but you guys would probably get bored. Yeah, we're coming up on another election, guys. Are we at the 2-year mark? No, they're already starting to campaign, though. Don't worry, I won't be covering it. I don't cover the buy one, the like the Congress. I don't cover that. So anyway, I'm gonna go way down to the bottom, see if anyone has answered any of my things. What have you guys been watching? Nope, no one's answering that. Question: What did you do? What did you and your wife used to do that was not pricey? Picnic, go out for dinner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Jamie Palmer. I've also been watching podcasts and interviews with real life exorcists. What? No way. What? I'm gonna have to like put that into the search here because that sounds nuts. Waken says, do-it-yourself hacks around the house, psychology, and self-motivation vids mostly. Yeah. I do watch a lot of psychology ones too. I'm trying to turn that part of my brain back on. It was on for a long time where when I was in the field for that very, very short time, man, it was turned on, man. My wife is really smart when it comes to like psychology, which I don't know where she got that, but yep, caught up, Sam. Okay, I will do that, Awaken. Thank you so much. She says, keep it now. I just emailed you. Yes, cool. Ned and Coco Speed Shop. I was in prison altogether almost 18 years. 14 of that was straight. And then back on violations after that. And then I was in the state for a little bit, waiting for the feds to grab me. Too long, Ned. Too long. To go from Joe Citizen and then completely just like, yeah, it was nuts. I do there is a video. I mean, I've been interviewed on a bunch of true crime podcasts and some prison podcasts, but there's a video that I've done where I just kind of tell my entire story. It's somewhere down there. Shannon, I am going to get to your email. Or maybe I already did. You didn't need. You just had a comment on your email. I am really doing this all bass backwards today. Question: still a tattoo show, dude? Pro Scratcher? Yeah, we're gonna do that. I just I want to do that from the shop. So I need to figure that out. Let's plan for next week. I think next week will be good for me. Because I want to plan the tattoo. Make sure the person who I'm going to be tattooing on, because I am going to just do a quick small tattoo, like a, something small for that show. And yeah, that should be cool. Comment, Sam, I. I don't know if Ben answered me when I said let's do a show. ASAP is the same. I think having that YT schedule is a good way to manage your time. And if you need to change it on the fly, just announce it in a post. You mean like having just like a set time I do the show every day? I mean, I kind of do that, right? Is that what you mean? Because I do other shows. I'll drop in the afternoon sometimes. And I just looked up and I'm going to take a screenshot of that. We are 111. Wanted to screenshot that. I'm going to make a thumbnail out of that someday when I talk about numerology. Remember, people have a very short attention span. Forgive and forget. Yeah, they do. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Remember, people have very short attention span. Forgive and forget. I love that. I love that. Wild Poppy says, and family can get angry over self-care, but forget how miserable they were when we were sick. That is a very, very interesting subject. I've had that discussion with somebody, not recently. It was a long time ago. It might even been with a sponsor. Yeah. And yeah, that's a thing, right? That happens to a lot of addicts. Yeah, we can pivot this to addiction anyway. And then I'll get to the end of that. When I first got clean, and I had a girlfriend at the time. She used to get very upset because when I was high, I would just be high at the house, hanging out, and she never knew I was high, and I was doing a lot. And when I got out of treatment, I remember like wanting to go to the beach all the time by myself, but it was only like, go to the beach for a couple hours. But it would usually be at night, not in the mornings like I would love to have done. But I had to drive from Long Beach to Hollywood, which is, I don't know, 45-minute drive, and well, if there's traffic, a 2-hour drive. So I couldn't do it in the morning, but I would go at night when I go home, and she would get so mad. She's like, well, as soon as I get home from work, you go do your, self-care. And I was like, well, I mean, this could be totally different. I could be, nodding out on this couch, laughing at, whatever, nothing that's funny or whatever. And yeah, she used to get really mad. Her name was Gloria. Yeah, I'm going to dox her ass because, everything's a dox now. All right. Can be a call. Be a call to me about nothing. Oh yeah. I was like, I thought you were saying something like philosophical. No, yeah, I appreciate that. It sure can. Because I always feel better after I talk to James Collins Cares, that's for sure. But we hardly ever do it. Yep. Damn, this thing's on fire right now. What the heck? So anyways, I want to say an apology too, guys. I want to apologize for like the last 4 or 5 days. And I know I don't really need to apologize. Um, because we all walk in forgiveness in this community for the most part. I think people let us know when they need an apology, or they let us know of any transgression that we have committed. And so, and then we apologize. But I want to apologize for just getting off track for a second. And I get it. I know we all like to watch the train wreck, right? And it can be fun too. It can be really satisfying when you prove that someone else was wrong, or you know what I mean? Like, especially if you've been attacked by somebody and you can prove that their attack was like unfounded. And but still, that's not the kind of content I want to create, and I do hate it when people say, this isn't the content I create. No, I'm saying wasn't the content I wanted to create. Like, I didn't want to be involved in all that. But it was my choice and I did it. And I just remember that day. I remember like that day I was just like so busy, and I put the stupid audio file out. And like from that point on, I was just like in a catch up fog, trying to like catch up with all the questions, and being just attacked, and and nothing I couldn't handle, or anything like life threatening or anything like that. But I set our show, our little thing, off in like this weird little spiral for a few days, and I apologize for that. And maybe that is better than what this, and not so much today, because I just feel like I'm a little distracted today with just some things that are going on at my tattoo shop. So I'm not thinking super clearly about that. And I'm getting texts about, I'm gonna put my phone down, and I'm getting texts, about the situation. So yeah, I'm a little off beat today. But yeah, I just wanted to say sorry for that. Because I didn't have to do it, and I did it anyway. Because for some reason like I said before, I injected myself in the situation, felt that audio file needed to be on YouTube, to expose, who it exposes. So since it was taken down, but anyways, I'm not really trying to talk about that. Banka. Did anyone answer who sings Take a Little Rhythm? I appreciate that, Wanna Love, for sure. Yep, I really do appreciate that. In a sense, yeah. Yep, that's what we're doing. I'm doing. We're just walking away. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not putting up the comments I'm talking about. Like, what? Is he just like talking to nobody? Hey, Deb, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. I think most everyone would want to set the record straight if someone was like, yeah. It's crazy, Deb. I thought about you when the past 4 or 5 days, because I know you're like new to the show, and you're also a new creator. And I thought about you like a few times, thinking like, because I know you're a Christian, and I just thought like, man, she's probably like, what the F? What did I get myself into? Because you don't have like a history with the show, and yeah, like I almost like reached out and emailed you to say like, hey, this I know this seems very not unpleasing to God, and a lot of it is, I just wanted to let you know I was aware that it was like I wasn't going off the rails. I don't know why I felt like some weird accountability to you about that because it's bizarre, right? Because I don't know you. I don't know like I've watched a few of your shows. You've watched a few of mine, but yeah, it was just a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. I think it's just because you don't have a history here. I'm Sam-splaining a history with the show, and everyone else does. I really don't need to explain it to them. At least not in this like bizarre, weird Sam-splaining thing that I do. Hold on, real quick, guys. Dun, 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 dun. This is the version I'm thinking about. Sorry, I'm just looking up some. No, it is. No, this isn't the version. I think the version of Take a Little Rhythm, I'm sorry, I'm responding to, is, it wasn't by Ellie Thompson. Now I can't remember. No, somebody covered it. It was like REO Speedwagon or something. I think it was REO Speedwagon. Yeah, Blue Bayou. It's Allie Thompson did the original, but I was thinking of like the REO Speedwagon version. It's so effing good, man. It's just one of those songs that makes you feel good. Oh man, Hazley this morning. I wonder if I have a history. Hazley this morning. Man, it's not gonna have a history. Said we were getting dressed and she put on this song, and I was like, "How the hell do you know this song?" And it was just like this happy. Oh man, damn it. I just can't remember now. It was so good. And I was so like impressed that she knew it. But we both just started like shaking our butts and dancing to it and just had a good laugh at it. I just love her so much, man. Well, anyways, I can't find it. Back to the show. Back to the show. Oh, what are we doing? Threes, fours. Oh. Is everything okay, Nicole? I just see lots of love coming your way, which is awesome. Oh yeah, that sucks, Nicole. I won't put up the. Oh, Shannon Trim says, I don't remember choosing that. That's awesome. I love the fact that you are mindful of, is this pleasing to God? I am very, 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 very mindful of that. but you know, we slip, right? We like I don't want to say backslide, but we get consumed in things, and we want to be right about things, or we want to stand on something, and we forget to ask ourselves, is this pleasing to God? And I'm only sober today because I used to ask myself that every day when I woke up. With every decision I made, I would ask myself that question, and I responded. I responded, God, I can't think of the English language today. Appropriately, correctly. I responded. If it did not please God, I did not do it. If it did please God, I did it. I started with, is this furthering my recovery? And if that was no, like it could be buying a couch. Is this furthering my recovery? Buying this couch today. If it didn't further it, I didn't do it. I just didn't. And I can't remember who told me like to follow, ask yourself those two questions. And if you answer them honestly and then act on them, on those answers, you will stay clean and sober no matter what. No matter what. You can't not stay clean and sober if you answer those questions honestly and take the action towards your answer. And I just thought that it saved my life. It saved my life. So that is something I'm super mindful of. And a lot of people commented on the last few videos that I've done. Is this pleasing God? Is this pleasing God? And I appreciate that. And of course it doesn't. Nothing like that does. Maybe the receipt video, maybe, but I'd have to really like manipulate the reasoning to God. God knows what's in my heart. He knows what's in your heart. And it's just one of those things, man. Yeah, that's good that you try to do the same. Walking the narrow path, yes. Yeah. Well, we love you, Nicole. I hope everything's okay. If you need anything, shoot me an email. We can have a chat. That's awesome, Shannon. Yeah. I want to I want to like do something super cool. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's not the REO, maybe it's not REO Speedwagon. But I remember it was after a hit. Like on this album, there was a hit, and I always listened to that, and that was the very next song. You know how like when you used to listen to records, you knew like the order of the songs, which is crazy. But back then you get a record and you listen to that record after you bought it over and over and over again. And so you would know the order of songs. It was kind of a cool thing. We're going. I'm sorry, guys. This isn't going to be very long, but I'll be right back. But I'm going to play this while I'm gone.
Something we don't talk about enough. People just like this. And his responses were not what most of us think. They weren't passive or weak. They were actually.
Oh, here we go. We got
good at surfacing data,
live
but I
testimony.
believe it's up to the examiner to understand what that data means and to provide context to the information which the tool itself can't give.
Okay, guys, I'll be right back.
Hash value.
Can I get a 5x5 on
determine
this?
whether or not you thought there was anything wrong with the data. Aside from the hash value, how do you do that?
How do I do
How do you
what?
make a determination whether or not this has integrity, the data hasn't been tampered with?
Thank you, Awakened.
So notwithstanding the hash value, I'd be looking for issues with the data that don't make sense. In this particular case, there was lots of data points that all appeared to work together. Like you would see one artifact change in one database and an artifact would change somewhere else. And it all just made perfect sense in how it was functioning. That kind of leads you to believe that it's not been tampered with, or the person tampering with it did an exceptional job to be able to cover all of these different tracks and make it undetectable.
Did you try to summarize that perspective in the part of the report that wasn't read to you on examination?
I did.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty if there was any data integrity issues in the information you reviewed?
I don't believe there was any.
It was characterized on examination. There was a dispute about the time origin of the search, how long to die in code. Do you remember being asked the question about a dispute?
Yes.
Have you, in your studies and in your position, is there any viable dispute in the forensic data scientific community about that issue?
I don't believe there is anymore.
Now, you got involved in this case because you received a complaint from a consumer.
I received a question from a consumer, yes.
And you attempted to resolve that?
Correct.
Sustained.
Other than that source, have you received any information, feedback, opinions that would make this issue in any way a dispute?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll allow that.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question?
Other than that
I
one
lost
person, that one
15
consumer,
people.
have you
Bam,
received
just
any
like that.
information in the forensic community which you're part of?
Oh.
Any data, any information that would suggest that your conclusions are in dispute?
Yeah, I received a very similar question from an examiner.
Okay. Back to me. Yeah, sorry about that. Just had to go eat a piece of bread and grab another bottle of water. I don't know why. I just had to eat something small. So I guess I was saying I want to do something. Take It on the Run's a great song. With the live version, oh my god. No, it's not Take It. It's Take a Little Rhythm. Man, that's crazy. And I'm taking it. You're like really searching for the other version. And I appreciate that because it's going to drive me crazy. It seems like if it was on any one big, like any, big artist, if you put it in Spotify or wherever, it would come up. It's going to drive me nuts, dude. It was on an album I listened to all the time, and it was always the second song. Man. I just can't remember. It's crazy. Anyways, viewers are dropping off like flies. That's okay. Today's a weird show. If you do go, man, please come back tomorrow. I got a big show. It's all laid out with visuals and everything, and I know what I'm passionate about the subject. So yeah, please come back tomorrow when things will be a little funner. Thank you, ASAP, so much for the super sticker. I don't know if that was today or yesterday, but thank you again. Thank you so much, Woofy, for the gifted memberships. And Gina, I am so grateful I found this community. My faith journey has been rocky recently, but I feel I'm regaining my footing. Thanks in large part to you all. That is awesome to say. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. And you know what? Maybe we're right there with you. At least I think I am. And maybe we can like take this growth season together. And I appreciate you being here. I really do. And for like the Christians in the community, I think they understand when I not go off the rails about Christianity, but where I try to include non-Christians and give them something like to let them make a decision for themselves, or maybe they already have, to like at least maybe give it give it a chance, not give Christianity a chance, but like think that there possibly could be something else greater than themselves out there. But they don't have to believe that there is something greater, but maybe the possibility that there might be something greater. What the heck is going on, man? I'm not that distracted where I can't talk with the shop stuff. I mean, it's going on, but there's no way I can't think of simple words right now. Maybe I'm having a stroke, and I don't mean to joke about that, but it's crazy. I mean, obviously I'm not having a stroke, but I wonder if that's ever happened live. Huh. I wonder if that's ever happened live. Tara Jackson, thank you for the super sticker. I don't know if that was today or yesterday, because oh no, these are for today. Thank you so much. I think they are. It's like, wait a minute. Oh, we already did that. I just don't know. Grateful in mind. Grateful 11 says, changing my handle to grateful reminds me to practice gratefulness. I still hear all the outside noise. It reminds me to be mindful of the things I should be grateful for. Yeah, that's badass. Like, really, that's super cool. And grateful, thank you so much for the comment. Yes, I will always be present with the ones you love. Get away from the YT world. Beautiful. I read that already, but it's worth reading again. It absolutely is. I don't know if these are from today or not, so I apologize if I'm Christy Never Newton became a member. Thank you so much. Teresa Clay, thank you for the gifted memberships. Membership, I really appreciate you. And Galen, thank you for the memberships. I think those were from yesterday. But Wolfie gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Wolfie. I really appreciate you. No refunds. I'm just kidding. Yeah, right. Jamie Palmer, because think about it. Like yesterday, I know I did not miss a beat. Like there was no him hawing, anything wishy-washy. Not that I'm wishy-washy right now, but you know what I mean? I was assertive and direct and knew what I was wanted to say and what I was talking about. Today I just a little bit I don't feel foggy. I've got plenty of sleep. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe it is exactly that, Jamie Palmer. I think there are times when we have all had to decompress from stressful situations in our lives, and I you don't want to admit sometimes things are stressful, because even during the stress, we don't let people know that we're stressed. And especially like in a situation like this, you don't want to, don't let them know, shit got to you, but I don't think there's there shouldn't be a bad stigma to that. If there is, we need to get rid of it. Comment saying hi, still dealing with my hand surgery, 2 more weeks in cast. The pain is still ridiculous. Took 5 minutes to type. LOL. Love to all. I love you too, Nana of 2. I do. And I think about you all the time too. There's someone else out there. I see it like in other chats that has almost your exact same avatar. And I always think it's you. And I was always going to be like, oh, you're using a different handle for the show. I go, that's good. But I don't know if it's you or not. It's probably not. Jamie Palmer says, I am the self-proclaimed queen of keeping difficult stuff to myself when I am overwhelmed with real life, but I'm working on getting better at opening up during those times. Yeah. Yeah, when the stuff is serious, like, and it's like internal, like heavy stuff, I definitely don't let anyone in. My wife calls me on it. She sees it, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And she'll be like, no, you're not. It's just the way you're answering me that you're fine. I can tell you're not fine. Because I'll just be like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know, like, oh, you don't seem fine. Get away. But like, you know, like this, like stuff like this week and like that kind of stressful stuff, that's easy stress for real. I mean, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it's easy stress because no, I was in my body. Like, and this is how the community knew me so well that after that video the other night, they like bombarded me with like, do not respond. You're going to be up. Don't watch it. That was what a lot of people said. Well, like 4 people said, I shouldn't say a lot, was don't watch it. But, you know, we're human. And what are we going to do? Watch it. Yeah, I know. Ali Rhythm does, I think, is the original Take a Little Rhythm, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of is a male singer, and it's a rock band. It's a rock band because the first song is rock, and then it's like, you're like, whoa, that's cool. It might even be Styx. No, it's not Styx. It's not Styx. But hey, Jimena, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm not taking any new meds. I know you're saying yourself, but I wonder. I know that's the wrong thing. Ben Bacon bit says he started some new meds that are making him foggy. Yeah, that I don't know, but you know what? We're gonna end this because yeah, I'm just I'm just off today. I think I had one other show like this before. You guys probably remember. And it was just, yeah. Please don't unsubscribe. It's going to be back to normal tomorrow. Maybe it is a decompress thing. And I'm just like, you know, I came out of all those things that I was like, you know, I knew all the details of every little minutia of the situation. And so I just was like, blah, blah, blah. I had like a purpose of sorts, you know, not like a life purpose, but so yeah. Well, thanks, Nicole. I'm glad you liked it. I appreciate that. You know what? If disco should still be a thing, and if it was, I think I could be more focused for real. So I say we bring back disco so Sam at After the Bars can be more focused. You know, ex-cons and tight disco pants listening to the Bee Gees. Oh my God. Or Gloria Gaynor. Gloria Gaynor? The pipes on Gloria Gaynor? Doing it Deb's way. It says, had good things happen today, paying it forward, and I appreciate you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Thank you really, really so much. And I'm glad you had some good things happen today. That is awesome. Praise God, right? Because, you know, it's all him, man. It's God's money, everything. He just moves it around where he needs it. I am not human awakened. Oh, I'm really just an avatar. Does not compute. Does not compute. I didn't say I worked at Microsoft. I said I am Microsoft. Does not compute. Oy vey. When I'll tell this real quick little story, and it's not any like story that I would get excited about, but super funny. When Hazley was first starting to talk, you know, you could say hi, and she'd be like, hi, you know. I was on the phone with somebody, and I was just like, yeah, well, say la vie. And she was like on the other end of the couch, and she went, la vie. So funny, dude. And I started laughing. My friend, what are you laughing at? I was like, Hazy just said la vie. He's like, why is that funny? I go, well, I was just like, well, say la vie. And he's like, no way. I was like, yeah, it was so funny, dude. Her little voice coming from over on the other side of the room. La vie. Wait a minute. I got all about Ned. That's right. Thanks, KP. I appreciate that. She says she loves the channel. Mr. Roboto is rad. You know that when it first came out, I was like, what are they doing? You know, I was like, this isn't the Sticks I know and love, you know, Paradise Theater. I think they did do one album in between Paradise Theater and Mr. Roboto, or maybe Mr. Roboto came out right after Paradise. But I was like, what are you doing? But you know what? That album start to finish is insane. Is insane, man. Well, I appreciate all the support, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It's totally needed. End of the month, you know. And so I really appreciate it. Be sure to come back tomorrow. It promises to be a badass show. And then next week we will do the tattoo show from the shop, and we'll have as a guest John Lozon, and he's going to have his prison gun that he made. It's like a prison style gun, and we're just going to like talk about it and, you know, just have some fun and banter. So I appreciate everything. If you guys see a post later on today about Take a Little Rhythm, it means I found it, what I was thinking of, because it's going to drive me crazy and I want to share it with you guys. And no, like and no, not a pipe gun, not a like what they call them, a zip gun, a tattoo machine, So Ben, let's do a show together. I would love that. I promise to not be a floundering, unarticulate idiot. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Mahalo.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake.